What's up everybody, Thomas Brandon here. Welcome to another School of Sim Racing video. Now, really quick, let me just apologize for getting these out a little late. Had some stuff going on here at the house, and so didn't get things out until a little bit later, but gonna get a few of them done really back to back and get them released so you can get going on these cars, because we are diving into the non-wing 360 USAC sprints. So we got a ton of stuff to cover. All right, so let's just dive right in. Now, first off, we are at Lanier, and the reason that I picked Lanier is because this next week, right, today is Sunday at the time of recording this, the USAC sprints are currently at Lernerville, and I didn't want to do a video at Lernerville and then, you know, tomorrow they're going to be at another track. That other track is Eldora. If you are just getting into these cars, I do not recommend running Eldora. Eldora is extremely difficult. Eldora is hard with a wing, let alone without it. And so I didn't want you to be practicing or trying to learn how to drive these things on a track like Eldora, because it's very difficult, and it would really just hinder your learning. You wouldn't really have a chance to grasp the stuff that we're talking about. And so I picked Lanier, and Lanier is really nice for learning because it, number one, it incorporates everything, right? So it's banked, but it's not high banked, right? It's not banked like Eldora or Limaland. It's got two different corners, but it's not as drastic as like Lernerville, right? It's got, you know, almost like a progressive style banking, okay? It's, you know, like something like Charlotte, but it's got the flat part down low, you know, almost like Kokomo, right? So it's got all these different things that kind of play into it, and so it's really this like in-betweener track when it comes to all the dirt tracks that we currently have in iRacing, and so it works out really nice for training and learning and stuff like that. Now, one thing that I want to cover is, and I'll have this setup down in the comment section or the description. You'll also be able from now on to get all of the setups that I put out, whether it's in a video or in the zip file when I give all my setups away. You'll be able to pick those up in the Discord server. So if you are not in the Discord server, you need to join that, just because that's where we're going to be linking all the videos to in the future. All of the special events that I'm going to be doing are going to be put into Discord. I mean, I'm still going to post stuff in the Facebook group, but the Facebook group, things can get lost. And so if I post something and then a bunch of other posts happen, you might miss it unless you want to just go searching through the timeline. And with the Discord server, we can set it up to where that doesn't happen, and it'll always be ready and it'll always be there, or, you know, the important stuff will be there until you see it or whatever. And so you want to make sure that you're a part of that, because that is the quickest, easiest way to stay on top of everything. So this setup will be theirs for you to get it. Now, this setup, you're going to notice a couple of similarities between this setup and the wing setup. First of all, these cars like stagger, okay? And you don't run as much as the winged cars, but you still run quite a bit. You run these cars much more free, much more loose than you do the winged sprint cars. And the reason for that is because these don't have any downforce. Okay, they don't have the, you know, that natural, you know, that winged down effect that you get from that, you know, barn door sticking up on top of your car. So these cars are going to be much more free when you drive them. All right, so I've got the stagger maxed out on this setup. Next, you're also going to notice that we've got the same bar setup here. We got the front torsion, we got 1050 in the right front, 10 1/4 in the left front, and we got them all the way up. Now we're running different shocks, which is really important. The shocks on these cars matter much more than the wing cars, because you are going to be on and off the gas on these cars, just like with the dirt midgets. And because of that dynamic weight transfer, it's going to really matter with these cars, okay? And then we've got thousands in the rear. Now, ride heights on these cars are about an inch lower, an inch to an inch and a half lower than the wing cars. So typically in the wing sprint car, we would have, 14.5 to maybe 14.7, depending on the track in the right rear. And then, 12.9 to 13.3 in the left rear. Here, we've got 13.7 in the right rear right now, and then 12 in the left rear. So it's about an inch to an inch and a half lower, all right? The reason for that is like I said, we don't have that wing to suck the car down. We got to do it in other ways. And if you'll notice, I've got these bars in the rear jacked up really high right now to get that ride height. I did a ton of testing with these cars to figure out these setups. And this ride height is what I have found to really work, the best, okay, for the setups that I'm running. Now, another thing you'll notice, right rear, way far out. Left rear is also out further than normal, and this is about a 10% track right now, okay? This is not a used up track. So the way that we get the weight set up on these things is much, much different. And then lastly, the cross weight is huge with these cars, all right? And I'm going to show you right now just to illustrate this point. So you can see we have 47.9 on the cross weight right now, okay? If I go out and I just turn a couple of laps, okay, you're going to notice that the car goes in pretty easy. But you can see we're really coming out straight, right? This thing's really wanting to go to the wall. A little over rotate there. Right, car's wanting to kind of push when we're coming out of the corner, okay? And we're less than 48% on the cross weight. Now, if I do some changing on this, and we try to fix that real quick, and let's just drop this down. Heck, let's pull that up a little bit higher. I think the lowest that we can go is, yeah, we can go, I think below, I think we can go to like 45% or something like that, 45.1 I think. But you can see, just took out a ton of cross weight on this thing. So now the car is really going to just be driving off of the right rear. See how the car does not rotate like it was before and then try to straighten out on you nearly as much. That one was actually my fault. The moment I say it's not rotating as much, I over rotate. But you notice how it's not wanting to kind of straighten out and then shoot up to the wall. And I'm sitting here making all these hand gestures and you're probably not seeing them because I got the camera pointed at the wheel. But that is because of the cross weight. Now in the beginning, for most of you, okay, what I will recommend is that you have the cross weight somewhere around 47%, somewhere right around there, okay? The reason for that is you're going to want these cars to kind of straighten out on their own getting into the corner, just because you're probably going to be over-rotating the car. Okay, and not over-rotating it on entry, although you might be, but you're going to probably be over-rotating it in the center, all right? So have it a little bit more free on entry, and it'll have it kind of straightening out on its own, coming out of the corner to help you get used to this thing. Now, as you get faster and faster and you want to start making adjustments, crossweight is one of those things that you'll want to start playing with your setups. Now, I'm going to do a video that's going to strictly break down setups on these cars. Kind of like I did with the, when I, talked about stuff with the wing cars, and the bars and the wings, and then also on the dirt midget. So I'll have that for this as well, so you can get a really good idea, because these cars, you have a lot more leeway, a lot more wiggle room to make adjustments with these to make them comfortable for you. All right. So now that we got that taken care of, let's get into learning how to drive these things. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you got to get used to getting these cars into the corner. Now your entry with these cars is, my gosh, it's got to be 75% of the battle. Meaning if you can get the entry correct, it's going to make everything else a whole lot easier. And one of the things that you're going to struggle with in the beginning is you're going to struggle with trying to get the car in and not driving it hard enough. See how the thing just snow plows if you don't give it any gas? Because what will happen is the first time you're going to come in here, you're going to go like this, and it's going to want to spin out on you, right? And then so what you're going to do is you're going to come in here, and then you're going to go, oh, and you're going to try to turn it, and it's going to shoot up the track, right? Like, it's going to be a headache. So what you want to do is you got to get used to rotating the car and what that's going to feel like. So all I want you to do is just basically get the throttle up to about, 40-50%, and just kind of turn the car in, right? Don't worry if you hit the wall, okay? Don't worry about that. Just worry about getting the car rotated, right? So about 50%, get it rotated, and work on catching it with your counter steer, okay? And just try to maintain that angle through the corner. Right? See how I'm doing that? Just turning it. Right? I'm really easy on the wheel. If you over rotate it, that's all right. Just counter steer and correct it. Now, if you, let's say you actually do that, get used to trying to fix it with the brake. You want to start learning. If you haven't gotten good at trail braking yet, this is the time to do it. Okay, because the trail braking is going to really help you with these cars a ton. Right? See how there it's pushing? Just give it a little brake and it'll bring it around. If you do that, that's all right. Remember, you're just trying to get a feel for what it needs to be doing. So just keep the throttle at 50%. One thing you're going to notice here is that you're going to be turning it in about halfway down the straightaway. See how I brought it around with the brake there? And when you do this, you're going to feel that, you're going to feel the car, the wheel wanting to just kind of turn itself to the right. It's going to naturally rotate to the right. Alright, now, if you start doing stuff like I just did right there, what that is what you are waiting too long to turn in, right? So if you wait, and then you turn, that's when you get that spin out and slide up. This is why it's so important to get used to the timing of this. You're really turning these things early. And it's not like a late model where you start to turn but the car doesn't react for, another 50 feet. Like these things, you start pitching them sideways and then you're just sliding, right? You're just literally sliding the whole time. You've got to get used to that, because just like with the midgets, you want this thing to be looking down that straightaway by the time you're at the center, right? You want to be looking down that straightaway, okay? Now, once you can do that, the next thing that you've got to do is you've got to get used to rolling out of the throttle to get the car in the corner. So you're going to go through the corner. When you get to the exit, you're going to roll into the gas and then roll out. I mean, you're going to do it really quick. Really quick. You're probably not even going to make it to full throttle, right? So just roll in, roll out, get the car to turn. If you do that, right, where I didn't rotate it enough, okay, just tap around with the brake. So just roll in, roll out, get the car in the corner. Roll in, roll out, get the car in the corner. All right, if you back off too much, and that's going to happen, you're going to do that in the beginning. You're going to back off too much, like that. Just wait till the next corner. Don't try to fix it. Roll in, roll out, get the car in. Try to not go below 50% in the corner. Whoops. Hit the wall. Huh. Do you see how I'm doing that? Just rolling in, rolling out, and turning it in. You're gonna notice that the faster you go, the less wheel you have to put into this thing. It will rotate rather easily. Remember, these cars are really loose.
You got about 5 laps of fuel left.
If it pushes like that, just fix it with the brake. Get used to doing that.
You have about 2 laps of fuel left. You have about 1 lap of fuel left.
Okay, let's get some gas. Now, once you can start doing that, and you can start doing that smoothly, okay, and consistently, right, where you can go in here, hold it, and then start to, you know, roll into the gas, roll out, get the car in. And remember, we don't care about what line to run or anything like that. We're just trying to get through the corner. Okay, now when you can start doing that, then after you get the car set, then just start rolling into the throttle earlier. I got down on the shelf. When it starts to over-rotate, just let out of the gas. If it starts to push, you see how I'm trail braking like that? That'll help the car rotate. Okay, and then when you're ready, then you can really start actually gassing this thing up. Okay? And notice how quickly you're catching that counter steer. Notice how I'm working the throttle. You're not just hammering down on this thing, right? You've really got to control the slide and the angle with the throttle on these. It's not like the wing cars where you can just, hammer it down and then just, work that wheel and work that brake and just, power through it. These things are much more temperamental. Car pushes. See how I did that? Just rotate it with the brake. You can even do that. I was trying to do it on the straightaway too, and I wrecked. You can even do it on the straightaway. And when you have this much cross weight in these cars, there's gonna be times where the car is gonna want to push to the wall, and you can do the same thing on the straightaway. So let's say the car is going out towards the wall like that. Just give it a little tap. Now be careful, because that might happen. You might over-rotate the car going in, but it'll keep you off the wall. And then once you get to where you can get through the corners smoothly, then you can start working on actually holding lines. You see how I'm kind of holding the bottom here, using that brake so I don't slide up. I'm really just turning the car with the brake when I'm doing that. See that? It's just helping me stay down there, holding my line down there so I'm not having to pitch it. If you go pitching it down to the bottom, a lot of times what will happen is you'll slide up. And what this does is it allows you to go in a little bit more straight, and then when the car rotates, it'll stay there. You can do the same thing here on the top as well. See how I'm doing that? All right. And then finally, your last test to know that you're ready for these things is when you can take them around the track full throttle without lifting. Now you're going to have to work the wheel a lot more with these, as you can see. But you're going to be really quick to catch that counter steer. And also not hit the wall. But when you can go around the track in these things full throttle, then you're ready. Understand though, you really only do that for like qualifying. Alright, when the track's like 10%. And really, you can let off the gas, but as long as you're like 75%, you can see I'm just kind of backpedaling a little bit to get the car in there and hook up. Oops, got on the shelf.
You have about 5 laps of fuel left.
All right. Now, this setup that you got here on this car right now is a very fast setup. I mean, if you can drive this thing, understand, and do it smoothly, you're competing at a high level. All right. If I look at 13.2, the track record last season in these cars was, I think, 12.9, so a couple tenths off. But with this setup on this track, earlier today I was turning 13 flats. I was only like half of a tenth off. So the setup is really fast. Okay, so understand, if you can drive this thing all right, you're good. Okay, it's not like I'm giving you some kind of, you know, noob setup that you can't do anything with. I'm not. All right, it's a comfortable setup that you can be very fast with. So just start working on getting into the corners, getting the car rotated, rolling in and out of the throttle. Okay, learn how to do that. Once you do that, start picking up the gas more and more and more and more. Right, these are really, you've got to go through this progression. Now, if you've been driving the midgets, you've already got a head start on these things. You really do, because it's the same principle as the midgets. It's just more power and a bigger car. So you've got a foot in the door already. And get out and practice with these things, because this week we're going to be really diving in. We're going to be getting into, you know, the fundamentals, driving skills, how to save these cars. I'm going to show you guys little tricks that you can use to save these things, right? If you get out of control, get out of whack, stuff like that, all kinds of stuff. Because next week when we get into the 410s, then it's going to be really hammered down, get fast, that type of stuff. All right, so that's going to do it. As always, thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, good luck, good racing, take care, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Until then, have a good one.